Hey everybody, it's Dr. V. I'm back with another reading. Today I'm going to be doing the overview for August. I know it's August 5th right now, but I just woke up this morning and I felt like it was really important to do this reading, so I'm going to do that. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle in this space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon my guides, counsel, higher wisdom, divine love, ancestors, archangels, and ascended masters. Be here, protect this space, and provide us with the information, the wisdom that we need. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Thank you for all those of you who have liked, subscribed, commented, and shared. If you'd like to book a private reading, all the information on how to do that is in the description box below, or by clicking on the cover photo. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to start off using the Spellcaster Tarot by Melanie Marquise, and we're going to look at what is the situation as it stands right now. What is the situation right now in this moment for twin flame, divine love, soul-based connection, spirit? So to start off, we've got the Emperor in reverse. Wow. The Four of Wands and Strength in reverse. Very interesting. So the Emperor in reverse is, the Emperor in the upright, by the way, is often considered the divine masculine card. So it's interesting that the Emperor is showing up in reverse. The Emperor in reverse is about really kind of a person who's abusing their power. So this could be one or both parties, because we both embody the divine masculine, divine feminine energy. So this isn't necessarily saying that it's one person or the other who is doing this, but there's definitely this sense of an abuse, like an abusive power, somebody who's maybe trying to control the situation. Somebody who is, it could even be somebody who's feeling weak, and so they're trying to overcompensate by controlling the situation. So it could be that perhaps if you're in no communication with your counterpart, that the reason that you're in no communication is because they feel perhaps vulnerable. They felt like maybe that you had more power than them, something along those lines. And instead of just saying, let me work through these issues, that it's like, I'm going to block you and shut you out, not have anything to do with you, because then it's easier for me to feel like I'm in control in this kind of situation. So that could be what's happening, is that there's just this sense of this not feeling powerful, not feeling authentically powerful. The Emperor in the upright is somebody who is very confident, who's very self-assured, who is, really got their shit together. In the reverse, it's somebody who's maybe kind of peacocking around and may look confident and secure and like they have their stuff together, but they honestly don't. They're more in that space of kind of it's a facade. And when you scratch a little bit beneath the surface, you realize that that's not really who they are. And so, well, it's not who they are in the 3D, because let me be very clear about this. Just because someone's behaving a certain way in this human reality doesn't mean that they're not higher ascended spiritually in the spiritual realms. I think that we sometimes get too caught up in what's happening physically that we forget that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And sometimes our human selves are a little bit slower and, behaving in ways that our spiritual selves are kind of like not approving of, but that's just the way that it is. We all have to grow, okay? This is part of that growth process. So it's very interesting because of this energy, this reverse Emperor. It could be even be someone, this came up in a reading last week, I believe, about somebody lacking courage. And that could be what this is too, is like to look at to be in this kind of situation, a twin flame, divine love, that kind of situation. Your twin flame holds a mirror up to you. It's like they're standing there holding a mirror up, and it's an honest mirror. It's, you have to face yourself, you have to look at yourself, and that requires courage. It requires courage to be willing to look deep within and see all the ways in which you have hurt yourself, hurt others, the ways in which you're not being the best version of yourself that you can be. That takes courage, and somebody's just lacking in that right now. But then we have this Four of Wands. This is a twin flame signifier. This is, if you look, it's like the 4 wands, 11, 11. This is, I mean, it's coming together in union. It's connection. It's, if you look at this card, there's like, you know, a marriage happening. These two souls are merging in a marriage. It's a happy relationship. It's having good times, feeling having, you know, like social events, just feeling really great. This is, you know, definitely having like ceremonial things, celebrations. So it's, when you look at these, it's like there's this lack of courage that one or both parties are having. And it could be, again, like oftentimes we want to focus on our counterpart. Well, they're lacking courage. Well, if they're lacking courage, that means that you're lacking courage in some way too, because they are mirroring you back. So like I always say this, like we can sit here and point the finger and be like, well, my counterpart isn't doing X, Y, and Z. But the important thing is to really look at it and be like, okay, so this is what's happening with my counterpart. They're being, you know, they're exhibiting this behavior. What is that showing me about my behavior that I need to work on? What do I need to heal? What's going on with me? If my counterpart is being a coward, then in what way am I being a coward? And literally having to take that. But there's also this, so there's this energy of the Emperor in reverse, but then we also have this desire. I really feel this like really burning desire to come back and have this union, have this happy relationship, have this connection. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that they are wanting to rush back in and you know, get married or anything like that. But it's not that they haven't thought about it. It's not that they haven't thought about coming back and having that celebration and having that joy and what it would be like to have a happy relationship with you based on honesty and integrity and authenticity. Like that's definitely a longing that both of you have. Both of you are ready to have a real committed, loving, happy relationship. Now, whether or not that means with your counterpart, that remains to be seen. So then we've got the Strength in reverse, which of course is again about someone who's feeling weak, someone who's got energy of fear, someone who doesn't have the willpower, who needs some greater strength, someone who is, it could even suggest somebody who's got like an overblown ego, who's too caught up in the fear of just fear and ego. Ego is very much based in fear. So it could very well be that someone's just literally caught up in the fear of what it means to come back, or what it would mean to come back, or how they would approach you, what would happen. Maybe you did something, or they feel like you did something that was really wounding to their ego, and so that's part of why they are staying away. It could be that you're afraid that you need to have greater willpower. And I'm saying this in the sense of, you know, to the watcher, that there are things that we can all improve. Okay, anybody who says that they're fully in their power and kind of have worked out all their stuff, I'm probably not going to believe that. Even the most advanced souls that I've worked with and I've known, you know, some of the most amazing and conscious and gentle and spiritually profound individuals will always say, like, there's always something to be working on. And so this could be denoting this, you know, that we each have things that we need to work on. And so it could be that you're not having the willpower to carry things forward too. So I don't want this to be read in such a way. I feel like a lot of times people read or hear these messages and they kind of focus all of their energy on their counterpart. I understand it, but I really want you to hear these messages and wonder the ways in which you're also reflecting these behaviors, okay? So what is the energy what will be the overall energy for the month? This is the current energy that's happening right now. So what's happening throughout the month of August? So we've got the Death card, the World in reverse, and the King of Pentacles. It's very interesting because there's 6 cards on the table right now, and 4 of them are major arcana. So just be prepared. Be prepared, because it feels like, you know, things could get intense. Things could get like, yay, that's what you want to hear, right? It's like everybody's like, oh my God, this summer has been so intense already. Like, seriously, do we have to continue with this? Yes, we do. So what's ahead is we've got the Death card, transitions, transformation, the end of something else, the beginning of something else. The end of something, the beginning of something new. Death is, so many people see the Death card and they freak out. Seriously, like a lot of people get like, oh my God, that feels so bad. The Death card is not a bad thing. It literally just means like transformation. It means like something is ending. Something is coming to an end. Now, if that is, this could be related to jobs, it could be related to those kinds of things. It could be physical changes, and I see that there's definitely some of that because of the King of Pentacles. However, it could mean just the end of a cycle, death of a dream, something that you just have to surrender and let go. There's a lot of different things that death could suggest, but prepare for something to end in August. That's what I'm saying, is that something is going to shift. Something is going to transition. It's a transformation. Try not to hold on to it too much. Even if it is your twin flame connection that has to transition and come to an end of this cycle. Okay, so we see this World card here, which is also about, endings, and it's like that. This is the end of the major arcana. This is like the end of this energy, and once you go through the world, you start back over at zero with the Fool. And so this is saying, like, this is someone who is really in the upright. It would be someone who is really kind of in their power, and things have materialized, and they're really aware and feeling like the world is your oyster, the world is at your feet, you can have anything. In the reverse, it's saying that success is definitely ahead, it's just kind of blocked right now, it's slowed down. It's saying that the life that you desire has not quite been achieved, and it could be, again, just an incomplete cycle. So what I'm feeling from this is that there's a couple of ways that this can go. This is that saying, let go or be dragged. There is something coming to an end, plain and simple. It could be, again, I just said this, but I'm going to repeat it because I feel like it's important. It could be that you have to let the current energies or the current cycle of this connection with your counterpart come to an end. And maybe it has to die in some way. And you have to allow that. Now, you can try and resist it. You can fight against it. And that's just going to delay the success. It's just going to keep things from moving forward to where Spirit wants it to move. But part of what we have to learn on this journey is non-attachment, is how to allow things to happen, allow things to take their own path without feeling like we have to try and control it, without feeling like we have to direct the outcome or that it has to be a certain way. So many people feel like the only way they can be in connection with their twin flame is if it looks a certain way, as if they're married and living happily ever after, that kind of thing. And Spirit's asking, what if that's not the way that it's supposed to look right now? What if right now all you could be is friends or not enemies? What if all you could be right now is supporting each other? If the relationship, if the capacity of one or both parties is such that it can't be anything like romantic, would you be able to handle that? Or are you going to try and delay it and force it into something that it's not meant to be at this time? We have to be able to listen to what Spirit's trying to tell us and take the counsel that is being given. I've said this before, and there are some readers who say that all twin flames are meant to come into union. I don't believe that to be the case. I don't believe that that's how it's supposed to be. I think that many of us come into union. Many people do get into union, but it's after a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. It's not like this is not a romantic fairy tale connection, guys. Like, this is when I get people that are like, oh, I wish I could meet my twin, and I'm like, I mean, be careful what you ask for, because this shit is hard. It's not easy. It will bring everything up. It can be a difficult situation. So if you feel like you have a specific outcome that you're attached to, then that actually is going to be hindering you being able to let this cycle come to an end. And that may be what's happening. And so you just have to listen. And if this doesn't resonate for you, then this isn't a message for you. But if it is a message and you've been feeling like, I need to attach, I need to let go, I need to get into a state of, as my friend Ash says, radical acceptance, where we just say, okay, I don't understand this, I don't particularly like it, but I accept it, because if that's what Spirit's trying to do, then that's what Spirit's trying to do, and I'm not going to hinder what Spirit's trying to accomplish. And when you can get to that space, if you can get to that space, then it will be much better for everybody involved. If you can't, you're going to delay things, plain and simple. If you can't surrender, you're going to just drag things out, and it's going to make it a hell of a lot harder for everybody involved. Because what's ahead is abundance. Look at this. This is like the King of Pentacles is like, it's abundance, it's wealth, it's prosperity. It's like having success and home, it's feeling profitable, having just like things just financially, materially, things are working out. It's literally like somebody who, I get this sense of someone feeling protected, someone feeling like the universe has their back, just feeling like all your material needs are met. And I feel like there's a certain sense of having to disattach and let go and move on so you can get to this space, that there may be some things that you need to let go of. I spoke on a panel yesterday for back to school symposium to empower kids heading back into the school year. And one of the panelists said that every year he asks his wife this question: who are you now? And he said, because it's he said, it would be arrogant for me to assume that she's the same person that she was when I married her years ago. People change, things change, circumstances change. And if we can't recognize that who we were yesterday, who we were at the beginning of this twin flame journey is not the same than who we are now, we're going to block our own blessings. And so it's like, I really get this sense of Spirit's like, who are you now? That question has just been burning in me since I heard him say that. Who are you now? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to release? What do you need to allow to come to an end so that you can move into this space of abundance and pentacles and wealth and feeling like things are lining up for you, feeling like things are where they're supposed to be? There definitely is some things that need to be let go. No doubt about it. So I really suggest that for those of you that are listening to this and you're hearing this reading right now, I guarantee you that if this message is speaking to you, there's something that has already come up that you've been thinking about. I really need to let this thing go, whatever it is. It could be, again, a relationship, a job, a belief system, a habit, an addiction, something that needs to be let go. And an identity, the way that you see yourself in the world, something has to change. You know it, because when I said it and when I've been talking about it, it's been like picking your brain. It's like Spirit's like tapping on you, and you're like, oh yeah, I've already had this intuitive hit. I've already known that I need to let this particular thing go. That is for you. This message is for you specifically. It's time to release that. It's time to follow guidance that God is giving you, that Spirit is giving you, to be able to move into this next phase. Okay? Because it's important. It's important for this. I feel like there's a lot of really great things that are happening. So let me see. I'm not really using an outline right now. I'm just kind of listening to my intuition. So what advice does Spirit have for us for this month of August? Got the Sun in reverse, the Seven of Swords, and Justice in reverse. Very interesting. Like I said, this could be a really interesting month, intense energy-wise, but it feels like it's going to be really positive, so try not to get too worried about it. The Sun in reverse, it's saying that really like happiness, contentment is really, it's available, but you're not, it's just like just out of reach. Okay? It's saying like people need to be more focused. It's just out of reach. And part of it, and I get from this, is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is like a card of betrayal. Okay, the Seven of Swords is where someone has like, stabbed you in the back and walked away. This is someone who kind of took some hasty action, maybe snuck away, just didn't, it's a painful card. It's a difficult card. It's someone who is like, someone feels like they've been stabbed in the back is what I'm getting from this. It's like someone feels like there's been a betrayal. Somebody feels like that things were, maybe a promise was made that wasn't kept. Somebody did something, could be your counterpart, that you feel like they kind of took something from you, like they came in like a thief in the night and they took something from you and like ran off. You turned your back and they snuck off with something that belonged to you. Okay, that's what that card is. It's like you're feeling just that there's a sense of somebody having done something to you, and then there's a sense of somebody looking back. Because in the traditional tarot, it's a guy with like 5 swords and he's like running away and looking over. It looks like he's probably a professional thief in that. And then so you may feel like somebody stole something from you. I really do get this, that there's some of you who feel like your counterpart came in or comes in maybe regularly, and this happens. They come in, they like dip into your awesome sauce, they feel all good and juicy, and they're like they tap into your energy, your power, your field. It's like they suck it up, and then they're off, and they're running off again, maybe they take it and they go back to another a different partner, or they do something like that. And there's this sense of you just, and then you feel like, well, I'm like left here holding the bag while you're off living your life, and you've just kind of like, just taken my energy, or taken my time, or taken my love, and then snuck off. So what I get from all of this together, honestly, is that if that's the case for you, or if that was the case and you had somebody come into your life and then they were like, you did what I just described, where it's like they came in, they made all these promises, they said all these things, like, I love you so much, I'm never going to leave you, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and then the next thing you know, they're off and they're maybe with somebody else, or they're just like, well, but my job is more important, or whatever that is, and you felt like, damn, really? Like, so that's how this is going to be. And then maybe they come back every now and then, maybe you don't hear from them for a while, and they come back, and then they're like, well, I'm not sure, I'm still blah, blah, blah. And you're dealing with that kind of energy. And it's like, and so then you start to feel frustrated, and you're like, what the hell, man? Like, what are you doing here? Like, what's going on? And it feels like that's been a dynamic for a lot of people for a long time, for quite a while, where there's this one person's taking, one person's giving, and this energy of, taking something that doesn't belong to you, running off with it, looking back, that kind of energy. And so then we have justice in reverse, and this is saying like someone taking a decisive action, okay? It's like somebody has to make a decisive action. This is, the justice in reverse is somebody is definitely, can be someone who's exercising bad judgment, somebody who is not thinking clearly, and that could be contributing to what the situation is. So this is the advice card. And what I'm getting, like, I read the tarot like a story. It's like the cards tell a story. It's like happiness and contentment is like right there. You can see it. You can see, it's like you can taste it. It's like being at a county fair, and you can smell the funnel cake booth like 20 feet before you get there. That's what this is. Like, you feel it, you smell it, you're anticipating what it's going to feel like to have that contentment, that success, that happiness, that bliss. But it's just out of reach. It's just, right around the corner. And part of what's holding it back is this. And you know what? When we look at the story, it's like, this is someone who is exercising what I would say bad judgment. If you're, okay, so let's just, if we were to take the emotions out of the situation, okay? I'm a Virgo here, so I'm a little bit more, and I've done this before because sometimes I know, like, I'm very sensitive, I'm very, I can be just like any other person led by my emotions. And so sometimes I have to have a conversation with my logical self. So right now I'm going to invite you to have a conversation with your logical self. If I take all the feelings aside, if I put the feelings to the side and said, okay, let me just look at this rationally, let me look at this situation as if it were not me. Let me take my feelings out of it and just look at it logically. And so you look at it and you're like, okay, so the person that I'm dealing with right now, maybe they have a karmic situation. Maybe they're in they have another relationship. Maybe they've said to me, I'm just not quite sure, I'm uncertain, maybe I'm entertaining the idea of coming toward you in a relationship. Those are the kinds of things. And so then they won't completely leave, but they won't completely stay. That kind of energy is happening. And so you kind of hang on, and you're like, well, maybe they're going to change their mind, or maybe whatever that might be. And then it continues. Well, that's not, if that isn't what you want, if you really want a committed relationship with someone, and you want someone who like comes forward to you and they're like ready to commit, ready to like really be with you and give you what you deserve and desire, then you have to recognize that it's a bad judgment. It's a bad move to continue to accept what you don't want from somebody. Because as long as you're accepting what you don't want from somebody else, you're blocking the availability for either them to step the F up and become the king or the queen that you deserve and that you desire, or for them to step aside and let you see who's behind them and find somebody else, okay? But as long as this person is occupying your space, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and you're allowing it to happen, and you're allowing them to come in and like dip in your awesome sauce and then dip out, then this is going to continue. It's going to be just right out of reach. At a certain point, we have to make decisions in alignment with what we want and what we see, as opposed to what we hope for. Okay, I hope that made sense. So I would say to you, don't look at what your person is saying to you. Okay, don't look if they're saying things to you like, I love you, I want to be with you. Don't literally stop looking at what they're saying and look at what they're doing. Okay, look at how they behave. Look at how they treat you. Look at how you feel when you're with them. Do you feel abundant? Do you feel blissful? Do you feel amazing in this connection? Or do you feel like it's wonderful when we're physically together, but then when they leave, I feel empty, I feel absent, I feel used, I feel, really take some time to examine that and then decide, is it what I really want? Or am I ready to reach this success and contentment? And am I ready to stop allowing this behavior? Because it's like, we always ask the question like, why is this person doing this to me? And that's not the right question. Why am I allowing this person to do this to me? That's the question we need to ask, because we can't control what they do. All we can control is what we do and what we allow to come into our space. I shared a post on Instagram last night, but it was a quote by Rumi. The Instagram is Love Revolution with Dr. V. And it says, what we desire shows what we believe our worth to be, something along those lines. And I was like, wow, that's really amazing. So what I'm really getting from Spirit is saying like, look, it's time to make a decision. This is an authoritative decision that says, this is what I want and this is what I'm standing for, and I'm no longer going to allow this sneaky behavior to continue happening. I'm going to, really be in this space of my own integrity, my own honesty, and I'm going to create space for what it is that I truly want, which is somebody who's going to be with me. Or not even being with somebody. It could just be saying, I want to be successful and content, and if that means that I have to step away from this kind of connection or any kind of connection for a while and just focus on me and stacking my pentacles, that's what I'm going to do. But what you don't get to do is come in here with this half-assed energy and think that I'm going to continue participating in that. Nah. So I saw this meme. I'm going to move these aside and I'm going to look at some other energies here. But I'm going to share this. I saw this. So there's somebody that, I don't even know their name, was making comments about the singer Ciara. And she married the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, I think is his name, a few years back. And before that, she was in a relationship with a rapper, I think, named Future. And this guy was commenting on a radio show or something, talking about how it was like that there's no way that Ciara could be happy with him because with Russell Wilson after being with someone like Future, because he was corny and he was all this stuff, basically saying that she only married him for the stability and for the money, and that he's kind of a lame, is what he was saying. And of course, a lot of people fired back and they're like, when you grow up, when people mature, they don't accept the same shit that they took before. So maybe Ciara accepted some stuff from Future when she was with him that she doesn't accept now. And so she's raised her standard, and she has a man who's treating her well. He didn't string her along. He didn't play games with her. He dated her, wanted to marry her, asked her to marry him, and he's, that's the thing. And so my point in sharing that is that we have to recognize that as we grow, what we allow into our existence also grows. What we allow into our space also grows. And so there's nothing wrong with saying, look, my twin flame, my divine counterpart is just not where I want them to be right now. If they came forward and they came to me with an offer right now, as they are, at the level of growth that they're at, we wouldn't work out. I know that in my situation, no doubt about it. I'm like, there is no way right now at the level of growth that where my counterpart is, that we would not work, it would not be a relationship that would be healthy right now because of patterns and behaviors. There's work that needs to be done. And so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with taking a step back and saying, look, this is the situation. It's not, I wouldn't want to be in a situation that has unhealthy dynamics. I want happiness. I want contentment. I want that kind of bliss. And if you can't bring that to me because you haven't done your work yet, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But what I'm not going to allow is a codependent, unhealthy energy just because because I fear losing you. That's not healthy either. So, it's time to upgrade. Literally, that's the message I'm getting. Spirit's like, it's time to upgrade. So I'm using this energy, the Goddess Oracle, and I'm going to pull 3 cards for the energy of the Divine Feminine for the month of August. So we've got Nua Kua Order. Wow. Uranome, Ecstasy, and Glidepvis. I don't know how to say that. It's the Moana card. I got these cards yesterday, and I was looking through them last night, and I was just like, oh my God, this deck is just gorgeous. So with my girl, Jessie. Hey, Jessie, if you're listening. It was good to see you yesterday. So we've got order here. So this Nua Kua is about coming into divine order. That's literally what this message is saying to me. And I feel like it is saying this overall, that the message that we're looking at is about this. It's about coming into a space of where we really do have this sense of order. We have to have order in our lives. We have to create order in our lives. If things aren't what we want them to be, we have to work on that. It's like if you feel like the energy around you is constantly chaotic, especially in terms of this kind of relationship, if you feel like there's chaos, it's pointing to something that needs to be healed. How do you get order back in your life? If your house is in chaos, my house is in chaos right now. No doubt about it. I've got like laundry that needs to get put away. I've got dishes that need to get washed. It's like shit's just chaotic right now. I understand why. I understand what's been going on that has contributed to that. But it's certainly important to really start to get things back in order. Don't procrastinate. Don't let things pile up. This is about getting into a space where things are in order but not rigid. So you don't want things to be you don't want to be overly controlling in things, but you want to have a sense of peace and consistency. You want to have rituals. You want to have things that you do all the time. So that's what the lesson for the Divine Feminine is right now. One of the lessons, the energies that you're working through right now is about that. It's about being in that space of creating order. What is it that you want in your life? How are you going to create a sense of peace and stability in your life, in your home, in that where it's not this feeling of things being up and down and all around all the time? So we've got Ecstasy. I love this. Okay, so this is definitely about this is something about allowing ecstasy to come into your life again. And I feel like with that Sun card in reverse, it's like turn that energy around and you've got abundance, you've got success, you've got once you move through those energies, and it's like everything that you wanted is right in front of you. It's like peace, success, abundance, happiness. And this is saying like, look, it's time to embrace that ecstasy. It feels like for many people, who've been in this twin flame journey for quite a while, that ecstasy, that feeling of bliss, abundance has been kind of just out of arm's reach because you're hoping that your twin's going to, get their shit together and come back, and that it's going to be there. And so you've kind of been holding off, waiting for that. And it's like, it's not like, that's not what's I don't see that happening for a lot of people right now. Right now, it's about healing and moving things forward. So could your twin come back? Sure. Would it take a miracle? Perhaps. And that's fine. But however that is, if you're holding off living until they show up, you're missing out. So this is saying, the woundedness within us, the pain of our past, the pain of our childhood, the pain of having lost our connection with our twin, or feeling like we lost it because separation is an illusion. Once you heal that, it creates space in your body and your mind and your life for those feelings of ecstasy. So this card is saying, like, do whatever you have to do, whatever it is that allows you to be in that space of ecstasy, of bliss, of feeling fully alive again. And then we've got synthesis. This is about coming together into wholeness again. Okay? This is like, it's literally, this is saying, look, wholeness is just right ahead for you. Okay, it's time to come together into wholeness with yourself. Unity together, unity within, bringing together all the pieces, synthesizing your life, synthesizing your spirituality, synthesizing your belief systems, your actions, the things that you allow in your life, the things you don't allow in your life. This is literally about coming into inner union. So right now I feel like the wisdom for August, especially for divine feminines, is get into inner union. Let your focus be inner union. It not so much focusing on your counterpart and what they're doing or not doing, but focusing on becoming one within. Focus on synthesizing, focus on you, all that love that you feel towards your twin that they're not giving back to you right now, that they're taking and not returning. Focus all that love on yourself. And it's like, it's okay to say, it's not that I don't love you, divine counterpart. Of course I love you. I'm just loving me more. I'm just taking care of me right now. Like this is time for me to come into synthesis so that I can create the order in my life and find this ecstasy that is available to me, that I want to find, that is just currently out of reach. And so that's it's a beautiful reading, beautiful message for the feminines. So that's what's ahead. This is a spiritual advice from Spirit that this is what to do. So I'm going to look using the, and this, by the way, is the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky. And I'm going to use the Gods and Titans cards to find out what is the deal with the masculines. Interesting. We've got Shiva, wow, Hades, and Vishnu. Holy cow, that's like balance, synthesis. Those things really, really match. Shiva, the destroyer. These cards are really, this is, let me look at the author so I can tell you. Stacey DeMarco. And Jeremy Manton is the artist. So Shiva, the destroyer. So the divine masculines are in a space where they need to allow some things to be destroyed, period. And this makes a lot of sense with what the feminines are in and what the energy that we just saw with this reading. It's like, look, it's time to allow things that need to fall away. Okay? It's like, this is kind of like, to me, Shiva is kind of like the masculine version of Kali. Anything that's not real, anything that is not, anything that's based of ego, that's based of false illusions, needs to be destroyed. So this is like, Shiva comes in when it's time to like destroy ignorance, foolishness, really crashing down whatever is not needed, really bringing structures down that are no longer necessary. This could be, karmic relationships that are no longer serving, but that are just comfortable, coming to an end. This could be jobs that are limiting, that it's like, yeah, it pays the bills, but it's not your sole purpose. And so things like that can be shifted. It's saying Shiva is going to disrupt some shit that is holding the masculines back. It's like there's going to be some things that are going to fall apart. Good luck. Pray for your masculines because this is going to be a tough month for them. I'm really getting that sense that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to fall apart. Things that they thought maybe were secure or they felt really confident about and felt very comfortable, even if it was limiting. It's like they're wearing shoes that are just half a size too small right now, and it's like it's not terribly uncomfortable, but your toes are a little bit pinched and it feels a little bit off, but you're like, well, it's not bad enough that I can't like continue walking. It's just like hurts a little bit. It's like that level, that is going to end. That willingness to be a little bit uncomfortable instead of like changing what needs to be changed is going to come to an end. I really feel like a lot of divine masculines are going to have some huge changes this month. It's going to be like any kind of negativity, negative belief system, negative thoughts, any insecurities, not having faith in themselves are really going to be, it's going to come to the surface. They're going to have to face it. Something is going to happen that's going to, like, for a lot of the masculines, not everyone, but for a lot of them, it's going to just like strip them down completely, and they're going to have to face themselves in ways that they've not been able to face themselves, or the ways that they've resisted. And so then we've got Hades for the masculines. You know, Hades is the god of the underworld. Yeah. Hades is an interesting character. Very, very character. Very, very interesting character. So he is the... I'm having this... do you guys ever watch that show? What is it? It's a fairy tale. It's the story. It's not like Happily Ever After. It's I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, there's Hades in that show, and it was always interesting because his head was blue. Let me think if I can remember it for a second. It's shit, I can't remember. Sorry guys, but it's a movie. It's a TV series based on like fairy tales. It's interesting. But look up Hades, see his character. Anywho, Hades is definitely it's not a physical death. It's the ending of something and the beginning of something new. So it's like, this is the second time that the death cards come up in this reading. I'm telling you guys that shit is going to get real in August. I don't feel like it's going to be so much for the feminines. Some of you, I feel like the feminines, because by and large, and this is not 110% true, because there are no absolute truths, but there is, for most feminines are the more awakened twin, the one who understands things more. And so when I say things like let things go and allow things to transition, the more awakened twin is going to be able to hear that and be able to understand that and move that and follow that energy. The less awakened twin is going to, it has been and continues to be in a space of holding back and resisting, and that's why things take a little bit longer with them. But you know, Hades is showing up to say that something is coming to an end. It's like there's going to be death of ideas, aspects of personality. Again, it could be an end of a relationship. It could be the end of this relationship. It could be the end of a karmic relationship. There's definitely some endings that are happening, and I kind of feel like there's going to be a lot. I feel like it's not just going to be like one or two or a couple of things. It feels like a full-on what I call an existential shattering, where everything freaking falls away. I wrote a book about that, by the way, if you ever want to read it. It's on Amazon. But it's literally this sense of just everything falling apart, everything just what you believed, what you thought was your future, the things that you built your life upon is completely annihilated. It falls away, and you're just like, damn, like what is left? And then we've got Vishnu, which is about balance. So again, we have this is a second time, you know, the feminines had synthesis. Now the masculines have balance. And this is about coming into that sense of balance. It's like having great strength and also being in balance. It's not being that emperor in reverse where you're you know, maybe either kind of feeling cowardly or authoritarian. It's like being in this sense of trying to find the masculines are going to go through this stuff. There's some things that are going to happen, and it's going to help them come to a space of finding balance. That it's difficult, right? It's difficult, but sometimes when we get forced to our knees, sometimes when all we have left is sometimes when everything falls apart and we don't really know what we're standing on anymore, the only thing that we can do is just fall to our knees and try and find that sense of balance within. And that's what's going to happen with the masculines, is that they're going to have a lot of stuff that's going to fall away. A lot of things that are going to switch and transition, and a lot of things that will come to an end spiritually. It could be physically, emotionally, a lot of things that are going to shift, and it's going to help them get into a state of balance where they start really living more authentically and in their truth. So I get that if they are a person who believes in spirituality but doesn't live their spirituality out in their choices or how they choose to live and show up in the world, that this is going to be a space where they're going to realize that it's not enough just to talk about it. It's not enough to say this is what I think if you're not living what you believe. And I feel like a lot of the masculines are going to, it's going to be rough. There's going to be definitely some turbulent waters this month, but they will definitely come into a space of balance where it's like things are going to shift. So I want to get a little, I'm going to use this Mythic Oracle because it's sitting here right next to me. But I feel like I want to get some insight about what's ahead for this connection, because it feels like there's a lot of things that are shifting and transitioning, and I just want to see what is ahead. So let me scoot this aside and use the Mythic Oracle. This is by Carissa Mulatto, and this is a lot of the Greek gods, goddesses, titans, etc. So what is ahead for this twin flame connection, Spirit? Just feeling like questions around whether there will be, will the twins come back together? Will they connect anytime soon? So we've got Pandora, and I think that's Themis. So Pandora, you guys remember the story of Pandora's box, right? There's all this stuff, and she was like, ooh, I'm curious about this. Let me open the lid, even though I've been told not to. And then it unleashes a whole, bunch of stuff into the world. So interesting. This is an interesting, when Pandora opened the box, when she opened her box that she'd been told not to, it's like she opened it and it was like all of the pain of humankind came forward. Okay, it was like hunger, pain, so on and so forth. But in the box, joy remained. Joy stayed in the box. So it's saying that this is a card that's saying like life is unpredictable. You can never predict what's going to happen. We can only take responsibility for ourselves and the choices we make and how we choose to act. When it's this card is saying, if the minute you think that you know how something is going to go or how you think it's supposed to go, then we start to things can shift. Okay, so it's like be open to the mystery is what I'm saying. What this card is saying, it's like figure whatever is happening, don't try and predict it. And which is funny because I'm like, what is ahead for this connection? And like Spirit's like, I don't know, the minute that you think you know something, it's going to shift. So just kind of be open to the mystery and let it be what it is. This is saying like have hope. Okay, have hope for yourself, have hope for your connection, have hope for your counterpart without needing this to be a certain way. Okay, I understand that most people feel like they want to come back and to get into connection with their twin and they want to have union, and I get that. And if your twin is like evolving and ascending and is like ready to be the partner that you deserve, that it's going to show you the love that you desire, that would be great. But if they're not, I think it's really important to open yourself to hope and to understanding that you may be able to create that in a different situation with a different person. So try to disattach from the outcome and literally just being like, let hope be renewed within you without needing it to be a specific way. This card is like there is literally a universe of opportunities that are available to you, but it can't be found by doing things the old way or looking in the old places. It's like if you lost your keys and you continue looking in the same 3 places, they're not going to magically show up there, okay? It's just not going to happen. So sometimes we have to just surrender to the mystery and allow things to be what they are. So then we've got Themis and its natural order. This card is about, again, it's order, justice, balance. This is literally like this message just keeps coming again and again and again. It's saying everything has a natural order. Everything has a way it's supposed to be, day and night, death, birth, something being in harmony, something being in chaos. And it's like, don't struggle against the natural order. This card literally says it's time to get your life in order. That's the message on this card or connected to this card. It's time to get your life in order. Clean out your closets, clean out your room. Like for me, put all that laundry away, organize yourself, plan your life, get your shit together, because this is what is happening. Keep your relationships clear, honest, based in integrity. Let things be in order. Okay, it's saying, look, it's time to come into balance. Again, I get the message again. If your counterpart is in a karmic relationship and you're engaging with them in any, sexual way or whatever is going on, that creates an energy of, it's a karma that you don't necessarily want to create. It's out of balance. It's not something that you necessarily want to continue to. If it's something you don't want to continue to engage in and you want to be with someone who's fully available to you, it's time to get that relationship in order. It's time to get things cleaned up in your life. So let me move this aside. And I'm going to wrap up. This reading is really long and I hope that you're enjoying it. But like I said, these messages wanted to come through. I woke up very early this morning with these messages kind of peeking through my head. So I'm using the Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild with just final messages from the universe. Spirit, what are some final messages for the listener, for the Twin Flame Collective for the month of August, please? First message, Viracocha, honor the light. Wow. And Alacoa, spirit of the warrior. Very beautiful. I love the art on these cards, by the way. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I got them a couple weeks ago and I've just been holding them and working with them gently. It feels very powerful energy. Anywho, Viracocha, I'm going to look at the book. These Alana Fairchild's book messages in the books they tend to be really, really long, and so that's why sometimes I like to keep the book handy so I can look at them. It's hard to memorize all of the messages that she has. So I'm going to just look and summarize really quickly. It says, his wisdom reminds us to do the importance of creating numerous ways to experience and remember the light and reflect it back to ourselves and the world. This could be simple altars, sacred spaces, beautiful sacred objects, could be like burning incense, etc. This is about creating rituals and honoring the light within yourself. It says, amplifying the inner light is a way to tap into your creative consciousness. Then what you generate in this world through your thoughts and actions is what you really want to share, which increases hope, goodwill, happiness, and peace in this world. Hope came through the second time. It is said that Viracocha made humans by breathing into stones, but his first creation efforts were not pleasing to him, so he destroyed them with a flood and began anew for better results. The symbolism of this speaks of allowing our creative ideas to evolve. Okay, so this is like we talked about with a destroying and death card. This is like literally like sometimes things need to, like the first iteration needs to go away so we can create something bigger. So yeah, showing gratitude to the divine. Be in the light, okay? Be in the light, regardless of what's going on. And I know it's not easy because when we're in challenging experiences, it's not as easy to just dive in and find the light. But please do that. Really cultivate a presence and a spirit of gratitude and creating that light in the world, because it feels like, again, that's part of cleaning your house and cleaning up spiritually and coming into order, is being able to honor the light in yourself and others, even when they're not being light beings, or even when you're not being a light being. So we've got the spirit of the warrior, which is saying, inherent in this code is a service to a great cause greater than the individual ego. You guys, this is what I'm saying. This is what this message is about. This is about getting out of the individual ego of, I want this twin flame connection so bad. I want my divine counterpart so bad. And it's about getting out of that ego-centered space into being in service to the divine, being in service to humanity, rising up and being that love warrior, the spirit of the warrior. I call this a love revolution, love revolution with Dr. V, because this is literally about sparking a revolution in humanity, to be better lovers, to love better, to be divine love warriors. That's what this is about. Living your life in service to higher consciousness. It says, for the spirit warrior, love is the inspiration, the purpose for the battle, and the only way to win the war. Joy is a sign that the spirit warrior is tuned into source, for that is the frequency which lets us know when we are in divine presence. As soon as we are in the grip of darkness, joy disappears. Although the spirit warrior will recognize such emotions as anger, grief, and fear, there is recognition that the ability to conquer lies in the present moment, and that fear comes from negative fantasies about the future. In disciplining the mind and nurturing the spirit with the soul with spiritual light, the spirit warrior learns how to manage emotional content so that it becomes possible to be fully present. The spirit warrior does not have a violent soul, but does have a powerful energy and a great need to put that energy to good use as an effective, action-oriented presence for the higher consciousness on earth. The spirit warrior within you needs to feel that your life is dedicated to something meaningful and magnificent. Holy shit, yes. To witness the positive difference that you are creating through your actions. Don't allow others to stop you from unleashing this beautiful divine masculine spirit power into your mind, your soul, and your world. We need you. We need men and women who can surrender to the guiding wisdom of a higher power and get things done. The moment you deny yourself the right to be bold, present, and practical and engaged with the world through your spiritual truth, your mind has begun repressing the warrior energy within you. Maybe it's your own mind that tells you that you shouldn't make waves, or that being spiritual means never causing a ruckus, or that you should just be peaceful and let go, even though you know that it is in your heart and not your ego that's crying out for you to hold on. Maybe others are saying you feel too much, or you should protect yourself and switch off from worrying about things that you can't change. Let your voracious warrior soul gobble up such lies and use them to intensify your passion and willingness to act. It says, blah, 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 blah. If joy isn't cultivated, warrior energy can become dark and coercive, where despair leads to loss of integrity and the ends justify any means. True spiritual warriors eschew such spiritual lawlessness. They have compassion for all people, especially those tainted by the forces of hate. They know that it is lower consciousness when they are fighting. They know that it is lower consciousness that they are fighting against, and that the people damaged by it are in need of spiritual truth and fierce compassion. If a warrior spirit tries to fight from a space of despair and darkness, doubt and hate, the battle will become destructive to their soul. When you fight for love from a space of joy, spirit warrior, the battle opens your beautiful, fierce heart. It uplifts your mind and empowers your soul with the might of divine grace, and accomplishes all purposes and wins every war. That is so beautiful. I'm so glad that I was led to use this deck. It's time to rise, guys. It is. It's time to rise. It's time to conquer our own lower level energies and rise up into the light, and to be literally the spiritual warriors that we're called to be, that we love fiercely. We love compassionately. I love that fierce compassion. And literally commit to being the light on this earth that is so desperately needed right now. So I hope this reading resonated. Please let me know if you have any questions, and if you'd like to book a reading with me, I do have some time available. So I love you all so much. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.